Here we back. Now today, brothers, we're going to talk about the price of power. We're going to talk about the reality of politics. Now, I know lately I've been talking about the latest coup in Niger because, bro, it's very interesting to see. The Western powers, bro, they scrambling. They're running frantic right now. Yo, they bugging out. So one thing I had said in my previous videos was that you got to sit back and examine the landscape. Come back and see how things play out in 6 months, 12 months, 24 months before you make a true analysis of the situation. Because as it's developing, the temperature can shift at any given moment. You don't know what can happen, bro. You don't know where it could go. So that's why you got to sit back. You know, don't jump out the window on anything just yet. You can't pick a side yet. You can't vouch for anybody yet. You just got to sit back and examine the scene. Now today, we're going to talk about the man that really popped it all off, right? Because we know it's been multiple coups in West Africa, regimes been falling and things like that. But we're going to talk about the man that popped it off first. The man that popped it off first. And the reason why we're going to examine him is because, like I always say, it's one thing to grab power. Anybody could grab power. But then you got to defend the power, right? Once you go on the offensive and you grab the power, now you got to defend the power. That's when we find out if you really that dude or not, if you really that guy or not. Can you defend the power that you have taken? Now today we're going to talk about General Assimi Goita because he actually was the first one that popped it off in the West African region in the Sahel in terms of the coup d'etats, and he's actually proven that he can defend his power because he's been in power for years now. Now take a look up on the screen. Look at Big Dog on the screen, man. Now, as it stands right now, today, Sunday, was the deadline given to the government in Niger for the military government to hand back power to Mohamed Bazoum. So today's the day. They say today's the deadline. But the military government, they said, fuck out of here. So now we're going to see what the Western powers are going to do in reaction. Now, when the governments in Mali and Burkina Faso were overthrown, they also gave them ultimatums. They also gave them deadlines. They also gave them demands to meet. And in similar fashion, those men also told the Western powers, fuck out of here. Now, the one difference between the military government in Mali and Burkina Faso and the recent military government in Niger is the military government in Niger has not been tried and tested just yet. They haven't really been through the fire just yet, so we don't know what they're made of just yet. But the military governments of Mali and Burkina Faso, they've been tried and tested. They battle tested. They ready for war. They ready for whatever because they've been through it and they still standing tall. Their spinal column is still intact. They have not folded under the pressure. They've been blacklisted. They've been banned from Europe, all that shit, and they still standing tall. Now, take a look up on the screen, man. Today, we're going to use General Assimi Goita, I should say President Assimi Goita, as a case study on how the Western powers are going to come at you when you attack their political and economic interests. You think they're going to sit back and not, bro, you think they're not going to sit back and try to sabotage you, undermine you? You out of your goddamn mind. Take a look up on the screen. I believe this article came out back in 2021. Keep in mind, Assimi Goita has been in power since, I believe, 2020, if I'm not mistaken. So in 2021, a year later, he already had an assassination attempt on his life. And he's had multiple since then. And the spinal column is still intact. You know, he's still got his spinal cord still fully functional. So before we get into that, man, let's learn who the hell is Assimi Goita. First of all, take a look up on the screen. Assimi Goita is a Malian military officer who has been interim president of Mali since the 28th of May, 2021. Goita was the leader of the National Committee for the Salvation of the People, a military force that seized power from former President Ibrahim Keita in the 2020 Malian coup d'etat. Goita later took power once again from Ba Ndao after the 2021 Malian coup d'etat and has since been declared interim president of Mali. Now, let's get back to that article surrounding the first assassination attempt. I believe this was the first one. Let's jump into the article. Take a look up on the screen. A journalist who witnessed the attack said the assailants lunged at Goita, who was quickly whisked away by security. The journalist also said he saw blood at the scene, though it was not clear who had been wounded. And I believe in this next part of the article, this was a statement put out by the general himself. He said this: "That's part of being a leader. There are always malcontents," Goita said in a statement broadcast on the state TV. "There are people who at any time may want to try things to cause instability." Now, keep in mind, when Mali and Burkina Faso was overthrown, the Western powers weren't talking about, in the same week, we got to send a military expedition. So obviously, the level of urgency in this situation is different from the other ones, right? It's very different. They even told you it's a key asset to the United States, China, Russia, the entire continent of Europe. Bro, they letting it be known. It's an extremely strategic piece of land. It's an extremely strategic piece of geography. And unfortunately for them, it belongs to the black man. So, it is what it is, man. It is what it is, bro. The Most High, Allah, whatever high power you believe in, he gave that land to us. That's our shit, man. That belongs to the black man. I'm sorry, bro. I know you wish it belonged to you, but it don't. I'm sorry, bro. I'm sorry, big bro. Now, let's continue. The man accused of an attempt on the 20th of July to stab the transitional president of Mali, Colonel Assimi Goïta, who has since been in the hands of the Malian security forces, has died. The Malian government said Sunday evening. During the investigation, his health deteriorated. He unfortunately died, the government said in a statement read on public TV. Listen, I don't got no statement on that, bro. Listen, you already know, you have already sealed your fate. Once you go for the most powerful man in the land and you don't succeed, you already know what awaits you. I'm sorry, bro. I'm pretty sure he accepted his fate once the assassination attempt was unsuccessful. Now, let's continue. I believe about a year after that assassination attempt, there was another assassination attempt / coup d'etat against the government of Assimi Goïta. Take a look up on the screen. As you can see by the headline, Mali's military government says it foiled a counter coup attempt. So you don't think, I told you, bro, you think the Western powers are just gonna let black men just boss up on them and talk about all them agreements that we had going back to the colonial period? We throwing them in the trash can. You think they gonna let the economy suffer because you want to boss up? Nah, bro, it's gonna be a fight, man. It's gonna be a fight, bro. It's gonna be a fight. It's gonna be a fight. Accept that. Life is about power, not morality. Accept that through your goddamn thick skull. Now, as you can see, Assimi Goïta's military government accuses an unnamed Western state of supporting a coup attempt. Man, yo, I'm telling you, it's one thing to establish power. Anybody could grab power. Anybody could wake up on any given morning and grab some power. But once you get the power, after you go on offense, can you play defense? Can you defend the power? Once they come in for you now, once they're going on the offense against you, can you defend the power? Let's get into it. Take a look up on the screen. The statement read out on state TV said a small group of anti-progressive Malian officers and non-commissioned officers attempted a coup on the night of May 11th to May 12th. So late night. You know what I'm saying? The boys tried to hit at like 2 a.m. These soldiers were supported by a Western state. The attempt was thwarted thanks to the vigilance and professionalism of the defense and security forces. The news release did not name the country it was accusing, nor did it give many details. However, relations with the former colonizer France have deteriorated significantly under Goïta's rule, prompting the French military to begin a withdrawal of its forces that had spent 9 years fighting armed groups. Now, number one, the Western media is so dishonest. The French have not been in the region now known as Mali for 9 years. They've been there since at least 1895. So that's like, how many years? Let's do the calculations real quick. That's about 128 years, right? But they keep starting the clock over every time a new military expedition is sent. So once they withdraw some forces and then they come back in, because you know France has had damn near 50 military interventions in West Africa in the last half a century. So every time they come back, they start the clock over. Okay, we only been here 9 years. No, you've been here over 100 years, bro. It's time to go home. It's time to go home, bro. I know you love it here. I know it's popping over here. I know the women is beautiful here, but you gotta go home. You gotta go home, bro. You gotta go home. You gotta go home, man. You've been here way too long, bro. You over here doing your laundry and shit, bro. Go home. Please go home, bro. I just want to have my house to myself, me and my wife and my kid, bro. Just go home, bro. Just go home. Now let's jump into the next part of the article. It says this. The government of the Republic of Mali condemns with the utmost vigor this outrageous attack on state security, the purpose of which is to hinder or even annihilate the substantial efforts to secure our country and return to a constitutional order that guarantees peace and stability, the statement continued. The government news release added that security has been stepped up at checkpoints on the roads leaving the capital in an effort to catch accomplices. A military source speaking on condition of anonymity spoke of about 10 arrests and said others would be arrested. The government statement said all necessary means were being mobilized for the investigation and to find accomplices. Mali's government also accused the French army of violating the country's airspace and denounced what it said was the unauthorized use of surveillance drones. Now, like I said, it's one thing to grab some power. It's one thing to take some power. I salute that. I respect that. That's gangster shit. But can you defend your power? Can you defend it? Once you go on the offense and you start scoring some buckets, can you play defense now? I mean, I'm telling you, life is like sports, man. Politics is like sports. Politics is like the streets. Gangster shit, bro. Bro, I'm telling you, bro. I swear to God. Something else I want to touch on too, because I dropped a video last night. I said Nigeria rejects the invasion of Niger because a lot of those men in that region of West Africa, they're men of similar ethnicity. They're men of similar spiritual orientation. Why would a bunch of Hausa Fulani men go to war to protect the interests of American and French multinational corporations. It doesn't make sense to any logical individual. And of course, the northern Nigerian senators, they went up in the Senate and was like, man, fuck out of here with that shit, bro. We not about to go to war with our brothers, man. Nah. So now we got to sit back and see how ECOWAS is going to regroup after that, because Nigeria was supposed to be the one that spearheaded the entire military expedition. As you already know, Tinubu, yeah, he has property. Yeah, I did some research, man. Tinubu, yeah, he got connections up in France. After I believe he won the election, he went to France to go, celebrate and vacation. And I believe he goes to France for medical treatment, things like that. So Tinubu got property up in France. He go to France to go to the doctor. So yeah, he got connects up in Paris. So yeah, Nigeria was gonna spearhead the entire military intervention, but the Nigerian Senate was like, hold up, big man, pump your brakes. So we got to see how ECOWAS and the Western powers are going to go back to the drawing board and see how they're going to regroup, right? Because it's a lot of moving parts on the table, right? Because obviously, besides the majority Hausa Fulani men that are going to be on the battlefield, if a war like that ever took place, besides that, when you examine Burkina Faso, Mali, Senegal, who also pledged to send troops, who else? Niger, Nigeria. Forget ethnicity. What is one thing all of these countries on this map got in common? Islam. From Senegal to Nigeria to Burkina Faso to Mali to Niger. One thing that unites all of these men is Islam. And if you take a look up on the screen, you see Assimi Goita and his wife at his presidential inauguration. Assimi Goita is a Muslim, just like the men in Niger are Muslims, just like the Nigerian senators are Muslims, and his wife, I believe, is Fulani. So I don't think Assimi Goita is Fulani, but imagine him mobilizing troops against other Fulani men, and he's married to a Fulani woman. It's so many moving parts in this. It's so complex, bro. It's so complex. It's bugged the fuck out. But anyways, in summary, what I'm trying to say with this video, the military government in Niger, we cannot throw any stamp of approval or disapproval on them just yet, because they've only been in power for not even like a week. They haven't even been in power for 2 weeks. So that's nothing, bro. You haven't even been through the fire yet. You haven't been battle tested yet. You haven't gone through the assassination attempts yet. You haven't gone through the sabotage yet. You haven't been undermined yet. You haven't had those challenges to your national security by the Western powers infiltrating your inner circle just yet. So we gotta wait and see. Are they still gonna be in power in 6 months, 12 months, 36 months? Because Assimi Goita and the homie down in Burkina Faso, they battle tested. They show that they've been through the fire and they still standing. So that's why on my channel, I don't make any predictions. I don't give any stamp of approval or disapproval. I just simply react to the headlines I see. So I gotta wait and see, man. I gotta wait and see. You don't know what could happen. The temperature could shift at any given moment. You don't know, man. You don't know. You just gotta sit back, relax, and just examine the scene, man. Anyways, it's your boy Neferkari Desalegn back in the building. Yes, indeed. Cash App up on the screen, and I'm gone. Peace.
Reincarnated, I'm back in original fashion. I left on a horse and came back in that ass, and I left with abundance and came back to famine. We used to be pyramids, now we be rapping. Look how the mighty have fallen. Used to be running, now we be walking. When you be cooning, that's when they applauded. Selling your soul, your sons and your daughter. Gotta come up in this shit, they stuck in the mix. Really, my heart it be breaking. That's why I'm stacking that paper and handle my business. Pass it down in generation. Talking about money and power and building a nation. That's a deadly combination. Never be watching the TV, they pushing agendas, falsifying information. Know they got malice intentions. Step in the room and I'm feeling the tension. Enemy watching, he blocking my vision. Pay for the check cause I need my redemption. Building my kingdom, I need it protected. Ready for war like a young Money Congo. Never decided the team is the motto. Up in the crib and I'm whipping up waffles. Up in the crib and I'm smoking gelato. I'm chilling, I'm taking my pain and make it ambition. I'm blessed by the gods, but I ain't religious. I came for the power, they came for the bitch. They making no hourly wage, I got business. This is an art and they could never be taught. Selling my soul, I can never be bought. Play with my money, I see you ain't caught. Run to the check and I do it for sport. Babylon falling, I go to the source. Packing my luggage and go overseas. Shorty be with me and she so elite. Shorty be chocolate, I'm calling her Hershey. Secret intelligence probably gon' murk me. Don't fuck with brands cause nigga I'm Haitian. Say the wrong shit and you're smacking their faces.